I can tell from the look in your eyes that the aftermath was horrifying. Weigh that passing horror against the agony of a prolonged struggle. Just look around this town.
No.
Consider the lives he saved. I know we did the right thing. Those savages were less than animals, with no souls. Glanton's blade was guided by God. His will be done.
So they weren't human.
Much. This asshole wants to talk about God after he hid in the caves while we saved the fucking town? He's just like the others. Not enough balls to stand up and fight, but he'll send Glanton to butcher women and babies. I'm doing it, and don't you say shit about the town. Look in their eyes. They hate him now. The man has to answer for what he's done.
Oh, you had me at, we're killing him. No. Killing Brandon isn't justice, but what? There's no... no.
Let's move then.
Do it.
Ain't this a bitch?
No, who shot him before me?
It's done. Let's go home.
Well, it's not quite... No, it... Now it's done.
Yippee-yay, there'll be no wedding bells.
And we're back. Right, we are here in Silverwood, a town we have recently saved from a Legion attack and the incompetent rule of Mayor Brandon. But we've not actually accomplished a lot else. We came here looking for Glanton and, due to reasons, could not quite find the right moment to shoot him in the face. Which is annoying. And now we're supposed to go back to the wasteland. But honestly, I'm kind of wanting to wrap things up here first. The problem is we've been paid by the mayor, and then we shot him.
I'm really busy now. Sorry.
Care to share with the class what it is that you're doing now?
I'm really busy now. Sorry.
So we've got no sheriff. We've got no real reason to be here. And still no real understanding of what the hell is going on.
Things are getting stranger every day.
Yes, they are. And you can start limping now. You're safe. I'm not going to ask you to be in the army anymore. Do I have any stuff
What
to
can I do for you?
sell, basically? Let's have a
Sure.
look. I might have a few items I didn't... Oh, I've got revolvers. Oh, God, you don't really have any caps, do you? Do you have anything remotely tradable? Believe it or not, I actually need... Whiskey, hello! I'm sure I need it for something. However... It really doesn't look like you've got much, but, here. Oh, tell you what. Pre-war money. We'll take that. Let's just have that.
Another satisfied customer.
No, not satisfied, not even
Bye.
slightly. And there are some other merchants outside, but I believe I've pretty much emptied them of cash as well. We'll have to,
Hey.
Hey. Honestly, I think it's pretty much done here. I'm going to go and check out the tribal camp. Maybe I missed something there. Hello, NCR settler. Yeah, you don't have to worry as well, you coward.
Howdy.
Howdy. No, you're not gonna.
Okie dokie.
I came to tell you you're a total wimp, but it won't let me. There you go. Okay, well then, we're just going to nip off to the tribal camp and see if we missed anything. I don't think we did, but you never know. Fireball. I'll take it, and caravan shotgun loot. Not worth a huge amount. Yeah. Because I have to say, this trip has been horribly unprofitable. We made 2,000 in the defence of the town, but I'm pretty much convinced I've spent far more of that in Bullets, Radaway, Radex, and Heartache. In fact, I guarantee if we were to count up all the Radaway and Radex we've used, it definitely isn't going to be covered by a mere 2,000. I can't believe I have to jump the step. It's not exactly a huge step, is it? Alright, no, we finished looting this place. Man with a crowbar and a limp. Limping seems to be all the rage, doesn't it? Oh. Now, we probably should be vaguely ready for trouble, just in case there were deathclaws. A deathclaw around here. So it's just... What? No. Why is it switching back? Something's wrong with my reload. Oh, well, that's really annoying. That really is very annoying. Have we checked in there? No, because it doesn't open. Fair enough. So... Is that a... Is that a cave? Oh, yeah. This looks like a cave. Looks like a cave. What have we discovered? Bedlamite's Refuge. Okay.
Swift and silent.
Yeah. I'm going to have to look into that. Not totally sure why it's not remembering which ammo I have. Okay, let's go to Bedlamite's Refuge. Okay. I see trap. Okay, Bedlamite's Refuge looks pretty twisted. Combat helmet. Any mines? Open safe. All the... Okay. All the safes are empty. All the safes are empty. Okay. Well, how did the safes get emptied? And yet not all the traps have gone. Okay. Mr. Bedlamite is a tiny bit paranoid. I use the word paranoid, but I suppose that's not really the correct word, is it? Because paranoid means that he's wrong about thinking everyone's out to steal his stuff. The sheer bulk of dead bodies lying around here, not to mention the fact that here I am doing the same thing, does tend to suggest Mr. Bedlamite knows what the hell he's doing. How come I can't? I can't. Okay, that's slightly annoying. Okay, we can't just... No, I got it. There. Wow. Dead prospector with a spoon. He's all in a crucifixion, isn't he? Another dead prospector. You'd really think they'd walk in, take the hint, and walk out. Mind you, you could say the same about me, I suppose. Yeah, I know I'm awesome enough to survive. Rum and Nuka! All right. Where's Russell? You coward, mate. You coward. Sensible, but okay. Still. Where's your sense of adventure? Jimmy! Okay. Level up. Awesome. Ha ha ha! See? See that, Russell? He who dares wins. Well, he who dares runs away screaming like a little girl and then wins. That won't really work on a t-shirt, though. Anyway. Level 33. Get in there, ladies and gents. Science, pretty much either. Speech, no. Not happening. Get over it. Survival, unarmed. Medicine's pretty high now. Lockpick, guns, explosives. Actually, we're running out of things to put points into, which could be interesting. Yeah. I forgot what happens when you get 100 in absolutely everything. I think the game breaks. I know there's a mod for it. I should probably invest in it. Okay, so we can boost explosives, perhaps energy weapons, because we do. We have the odd energy weapon. It's not really our style, but hey. Could max out some of these skills so I don't need to use chems for them, but let's not worry too much about that. And then, of course, we could max out survival. Not totally sure whether we get new things to make. Or barter, just go totally nutty on the barter. Let's raise explosives first. Because, you know, making things explode is always useful. Well, not always, but occasionally. Okay. Let's go along to the end. You have unraveled some of the greatest mysteries of the pre-war masters, formulas for developing special Nuka-Colas. This perk unlocks special Nuka-Cola recipes at the workbench. You know, I mean, is that like Nuka-Cola and whiskey? Although I really don't think I'd like to ruin good whiskey with cola. Just offends me when people do that. I'm pretty disturbed when people add ice. That's water, you know. You're watering down the whiskey. Ugh. Anyway. That actually could be useful. Anytime you sleep, you remove all your rads in addition to regaining all of your health. In hardcore mode, you still won't regain health, but you lose only 100 rads. Well, it still could be useful when unable to get back. It basically means that I could sleep and reduce my radiation a little. Mind you, to be honest with you, I could also take rad absorption and... Oh no, I wouldn't lose 100 though. That's right, rad absorption. To lose 100 rads with rad absorption, you probably have to sleep for a week and a half. Oh dear. Run like winds. Practice makes perfect. You finally managed to increase your heart rate and raise it to natural speeds. Each rank of this perk increases your speed by 10%. Interesting. Rad resistance, 25% extra. All things considered, that actually sounds like it would A, be useful, and B, kind of make sense. At this point in time, I really have become fairly accustomed to radiation, haven't I? And in fact, whilst in radiation, I move a little faster and... No, I actually think rad resistance is the one for me. I know I can sort of wear rad gear and I can use rad X, although we've seen how that works out, haven't we? Eh? I mean, it's not a perk that's going to turn me into a killing machine, but it might make these long periods of radiation exposure a little more bearable. And as I've said, it's also kind of... Well... Do you need the toilet or something? Because feel free, just pick a corner. What was I saying? Yeah, it's also the right perk, isn't it? You'd think by now, if anybody was going to develop radiation resistance, it would in fact be me. Which, actually, that's a really good point. Rad resistance. 39% rad resistance all by itself. This probably means that with my med skill, if I had any rad... I do have Red-X. I've got Red-X. 70. I can max out my radiation resistance without the need to take radiation gear with me all the time. So I don't actually need the surgical mask anymore. No, medicine +5 could be useful. But still, yes, that now means that with Rad-X, I'm pretty much going to be... well, not impervious to radiation, I don't think. I don't think that's possible. But I'm going to be in a lot less panic. Mind you, watch it now. I won't find any more radiation-filled zones. That would be typical, really, wouldn't it? Nice lights. I'm not fooled. Not even slightly. Dynamite, don't really need it. Locked. No. Run! Run, run, run! Okay, okay. I missed that one. That was cunningly placed. What was it, behind the ammo box? Probably. Alright. So now you decided to join me. Can I just say this might not have been the best moment? Shot glass, atomic cocktail. I don't need the shot glass. Who needs glasses when you've got a bottle? I mean, it's not like we have to worry about hygiene and sharing bottles, because I don't share bottles, I just bring spares. Seriously, what is this man protecting? Because I just have to say... the amount of money he's spent on explosives, he probably wasted whatever it is he's trying to protect. The sun is killing me. Okay? Usually for me it's radiation and bullets, but hey. Okay. Door to Mad Prospector's shack. That is not, you know, something that fills you with confidence, is it?
Ain't this a bitch?
Are you gonna kill it?
It'll hurt you, and you're gonna like it.
What? Okay. So, we had a mad prospector who was going to try and attack us with a knife. Okay, let's... you didn't set off any mines, but I'm just gonna... Mad Prospector's Key. Bloat fly meat. That just doesn't sound very nice. Assault carbine. Worth. Whiskey! I really should probably stop sounding so... oh yay. Like I'm running out of whiskey. 22. It just... it's probably a worrying sign, isn't it, Russell? Even more worrying! 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 We're in a... oh, shh. Are you... whoa, you're a tough bugger. No wonder you survived that Legion trap thing. Okay. Ammunition. This sweating. This man was sat on a mine. Mind you, they... okay. Frag mines, powder charges, and satchel charges. Oh, keep out. I feel fine. Oh, you don't feel fine anymore. Mind you, I've got to say, we just invaded a man's house and shot him in the head and stole all of his explosives. Now that I think about it, that's probably... well, probably not that nice, really. Okay, well, it's his own fault for making the place look like a raider's temple. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's hard to have sympathy for someone who hides in a cave, places crucified bodies everywhere, explosives, and big signs saying, keep out. I mean, you have got to know when you do that, everybody's going to want to come in. Literally, you might as well have put a sign outside saying, I have tons of treasure, please come in. It's an adventurous place with lots of reward. I mean, it just does. I mean, even the keep out sign, it's almost an invitation, isn't it? Told you, it's his own fault. He brought it on himself. There we go. Guilt avoided. Okay, so. Should we tell someone? Say, look, sorry, Dude, are you needing more private time? Or are you just...
Good. Bet you it's your call. Good call.
For some reason I had you on melee. That was weird. Yeah, should we tell the town and say, look, sorry, we stumbled across this guy and he was a bit mad and we had to kill him and take all of his bombs. Do you think someone will miss him? I'm guessing no. I really am. Yeah, there's this... Let's have a look at the map. Yeah. Return to the Mojave Wasteland. No, thank you, not yet. See, Bedlamites, Lopez family shack. There might be lots of little caves all over the place. Because I see lots of pathways, you see. Did we miss anything? You see what I'm saying? The whole place has got... Look at that. Does that look like a path? It kind of looks like a... Is that a cave? No? Am I just imagining things? Probably. Okay, let's have a look on the other side. Just, I don't have any sense of closure. I really don't. I sort of, I feel like... Oh, okay, what's that? That's a... Aha! You got to make your hidden pathways look a little more hidden and less... Cave of the Warrior. Okay.
Not a noise.
Yeah, Cave of the Warrior. There's probably going to be noise. Okay. Does this mean there could still be some of them alive? It's a little dark, isn't it? Let's go for the full beams. And keep checking for... My torch seems to be flickering. I'm assuming it's my torch. Yeah, my torch is flickering. Okay. Still, it's a pretty powerful torch, actually. Knife. Okay. I'm a little worried. Oh, healing powder. Although not worried enough to not loot the place. Okay, the torch is playing up a little. Let's just go for the Pip-Boy light. What's that? What is that? Does that look like... That looks like radiation gear. Oh. Diary of Benjamin Hines, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, plus some pencils. Okay. Alright, workbench. Don't have all my tools, so can't make a lot of things. Oh, Diary of Benjamin Hines, Volume for... Oh, okay, let's not miss something. There looks like there's a lot of diaries. Told you, I knew there'd be something for closure. Or maybe it'll tell us where we could find Glanton and we don't have to lose the money, because I've got a feeling at the moment we've lost Glanton. Russell seemed absolutely sort of, oh, well, it's over, we didn't get Glanton, let's move on, kind of. Activate campfires. So we're not really seeing a huge amount of people in here. Wait a minute. And I haven't spotted any warriors so far. Okay, is this where we came from? I think this might be where we came from. Let's have a look. Yes, indeed. I think we've travelled the entire... One last quick look around to see if there are any missing books. They're not exactly the easiest things to find, but... Nothing... Actually, that's not help. You'd think Volume 4 was the last, because, I mean, my guess is this is the man who wrote them. So we're probably alright. Let's get out of here. I don't want to read them in the dark. Let's go find a campfire. What a nice... Actually, you know what? I've got to tell you. It's less gruesome in here than it is out there, which is pretty sad. Okay, so can we light the campfire? I don't think you can. Oh, I could make atomic cocktail out of vodka, mentats, and Nuka-Cola Victory. I don't want to do that though, because I want to save my vodka for fiery purgative, whatever. I need vodka, jalapeno pepper, and horse nettle, because this stuff does in fact cure radiation. 50 points. It's not a huge amount, but it's, you know, I'm carrying a few of those actually. Let's have a look. And do they come under food? They come under food. Now they're pretty heavy? No, not really, actually. They're not really that heavy. Weight 1.5, because I think that's per stack. If, for example, if I drop one, I think the weight then goes 1.4. No! Yeah, 1.4. Just that let's pick it back up. Oh, that's not bad. I mean, it weighs more than Radaway, because conveniently Radaway is weightless. But, oh, I can carry that. I could carry 100 of those. It weighs 10, and it will get rid of 5,000 rads, which is 5 full doses. That's probably 10 weight well spent. I'm going to make as many of those as possible. Anyway, Diary of Benjamin Hines, Volume 1. I can barely sleep tonight, so I just started writing. I've begun a new chapter in my life, and I have an urge to document my upcoming adventure. It's a great honour to be given the assignment of seeking out an uncontacted tribe and recording its language and culture. After living in the classroom for so long, digesting and regurgitating information, I'm excited at the prospect of finally putting it to use. These anthropological surveys are competitive posts within the followers. I just hope I don't disappoint Dr. Graham. He's been such a fine mentor to me. Little is known about the people I'm seeking other than occasional sightings and hearsay from prospectors. Based on cursory descriptions, they seem to be nomadic hunter-gatherers who follow bighorners. Most of the old maps point to a mountain range called the New York Mountains. Who was York, I imagine? I've double-checked my pack, and all the rations are in place. Dr. Graham insisted I carry a rifle, even though I hate the idea of using it. The last thing I want to do is hurt something. Yeah, if you don't, the last thing you do is get hurt by something, though. It's the world you're living in, mate. This world has more than enough wounds. That's what Dad could never understand. He thought joining the followers was foolish, calling it a waste of time. He can keep the ranch. God knows he has enough bastards who can inherit his fortune. I never liked Brahman anyway. I wonder what he would say if he could see me. A bona fide vegetarian, pacifist, follower of the apocalypse. It would probably do him in. Okay, should try and find Mr. Hines and tell him. Could be a laugh. At least Mom would be proud. Sun will be up soon. I need to at least try to rest before I head off. April the 9th, 2275. Thus far, my expedition has been relatively uneventful, save a close call with some geckos near Nipton. After seeing that cesspit, I am all the more eager to escape from civilization. I wouldn't worry about it. Nipton did the same thing and escaped civilization fairly brutally. I'm staying the night in Searchlight, which is quaint, but hospitable. You obviously were there before me. The weather has already begun turning much warmer. In the past few days, I couldn't imagine making this trip in the summer. I was sore after the first few days walking, but I believe my limbs are growing accustomed to the demands of this lengthy peregrination. Say what? Now I almost look forward to my daily exertion, though I wish the pack was lighter. It's quite a change from the Mormon fort. It's interesting when I tell locals that what I'm doing. Their reactions are risible, to say the least. Most of them gasp in disbelief, then scoff at my mission as folly. Many tell me that I'll be scalped or otherwise brutalized by savages. I try to downplay it, but I know it's a risk. These people could be more bellicose than expected. However, if they've been truly isolated since the war, I can't imagine them being too hostile. Ooh, I can imagine them being ridiculously hostile, for a variety of reasons. However, I'll have to be very careful to learn and respect their cultural norms. I can't wait to meet them. April the 15th, 2275. After almost a week, I finally reached the canyon. It's simply pristine, arid, and pure, almost as I imagined it would be. It's smaller than I thought it would be, but that's to be expected. Anytime I hear the word canyon, I imagine gaping chasms that span for miles. This isn't a pit, though. It's a preserve. Aside from a derelict train station and rails, there is no indication of development. So this is prior to the NCR arriving. Okay. No sign of the locals yet, but I'm going to set up an observation post on the western rim. I notice some rad scorpions on the southern hill, so I'll keep my distance. It gets surprisingly chilly at night, so I'll finally get to use those blankets I packed. The local flora seems vibrant, and I've managed to collect a few yucca bits to supplement my rations. They are delicious. I'm laying on my stomach now, writing as I peer across this expanse, hoping to see a human figure. I'm hoping to document their patterns and behaviour before establishing contact. Nothing but geckos right now, but I'll wait. April the 17th, 2275. I was on the verge of abandoning this spot when I finally saw one of them. He was a young man, probably a scout of some sort. He was a physical specimen, lean as a snake, and he moved with such ease and grace like a dancer. He was adorned with an amalgam of hides, rags, and various objects. He had a number of tattoos or body paintings, though it was difficult to distinguish through the binoculars. He was tracking geckos and managed to remain unseen by his quarry until his spear skewered one of the creatures. It was a magnificent scene, so much that I almost forgot my aversion to bloodshed. However, I found myself getting queasy when he field-dressed the poor beast. Soon thereafter, he swiftly collected the hide and meat, then departed across the ridge with the same celerity and stealth with which he entered. What a remarkable day. April the 18th, 2275. After agonizing on whether or not to follow the young scout's trail, I was stunned this morning when a group of 50 tribals manifested in the canyon below. They are almost certainly nomads, as they are constantly monitoring the nearby bighorn herd. Far from simple savages, these people exhibit profound empathy and mutual support, as I noticed several elderly among their number, all of whom were supported by fellow tribesmen. When I noticed their encampment at dawn, they had already set out on their daily tasks, with many of the women and children gathering while the adult men hunted in groups. There is no bickering or infighting that I can see. That is already a welcome change from the Mojave. Though I've only observed them for one day, I suspect they practice polygamy. I'm hoping to gain a better understanding of their society once I make contact tomorrow. April the 19th, 2275. This was a day of many firsts. I'm still shaking from excitement. I approached the camp this morning, moving in a steady, deliberate fashion as coached by Dr. Graham. As would be fitting, it was a group of children who first spotted me. Far from fearing me, I was the object of immediate fascination given my dress and manner. Within a few minutes I found myself surrounded by the bulk of the tribe, men and women alike, all gawking and gingerly touching my coat. They kept calling me extranjero? Though it's too early to be certain, I believe they speak a pidgin form of English with many Spanish loan words. I could make out a few cognate phrases, who, where, matre, patre, but little else. I tried muttering slowly and despacio to no avail. Soon I was taken to meet a group of old men, likely some type of senior council. Though communication was limited, I managed to convey that my intentions were peaceful and that I was living on a rock above their camp. They seemed wary of my improvised sign language, but eagerly drew pictograms in the dirt. I reciprocated by showing that I came from the north of the canyon, from a great city, filled with many lights. They were impressed. These people are the most hospitable hosts I have ever met. Immediately after my meeting with the elders, I was ushered to the large tent and offered all manner of food, most of it meat. I willed myself to smile as I choked down roasted bighorner. The initial impressions are crucial, so my dietary preferences may have to suffer for a time. I can infer it would be offensive if I refused any food outright. I was also offered clothes and presumably a place to stay. During the entirety of my education, I never anticipated meeting such a civil, amicable body of human beings. They are the best of our species, which does unfortunately make us think that perhaps the people of Silverwood are the cause of this particular horror story. April the 20th, 2275. Awkwardly adorned in hides, I am beginning to mimic the habits and manners of the tribe's people here. I have not yet ascertained their collective name, though I suspect it's connected to some canid deity. I'm taking copious notes on their language, and I hope to produce a primitive dictionary before I conclude my study. I can say one thing with certainty. This is a polygamous society. It seems each man takes multiple wives, and the number of wives is the only visible social distinction in this otherwise egalitarian culture. Tomorrow will be eventful. I suspect it. That sort of ended a little. Okay. Okay, these are pretty long, aren't they? Ah, well, soldiering on. I killed a coyote this afternoon. I'm struggling to believe it after rereading the words I've written. I accompanied the men thinking I would pick up some of their expressions, but it turned into something much different. We left at dawn on an apparent gecko hunt. I felt so clumsy next to the other men, who moved with nary a sound, muscles taut and eyes alert. A stern-faced older man handed me a crude spear before we departed. His expression intuited that my rejecting the weapon would be unmanly, so I accepted it without hesitation. Once we set off, I was barely able to keep up, my muscles cramped from the constant crouching. I was more focused on listening to their speech than watching for potential prey. After an hour or so, the trio of hunters found a small group of geckos. I stayed close to the men as they inclined closer to the noisy reptiles, readying their spears for action. Right before they threw their weapons, the calm was disrupted by a cacophony of yelps and shrill cries. In an instant, a pack of coyotes descended on the geckos, scattering the tribe's quarry. The men reacted with startling speed, immediately flinging their spears towards the geckos and coyotes alike. Before I gather my senses, the tribals had leapt from our position, brandishing war clubs and smashing any animal within reach. As they bludgeoned, kicked and stabbed any wounded prey, I remained still, hoping it would end soon. The wailing of wounded animals pierced my very soul. Even as I clamped my hands over my ears, I found myself rocking and praying for it to stop. As I waited, I noticed a strange smell nearby, so I slowly lowered my hands. That's when I heard the growling, and even the dripping saliva hit the bare sound. The coyote lunged just as I clasped the spear, knocking me on my side. I remember screaming as it latched onto my forearm, and it felt as if every muscle was going to be shorn from my bones. I'm not sure what struck me. Perhaps it was the animal buried within my brain that screamed, "Fight! Live!" Something moved me, and without hesitation I buried the spear into the coyote's throat. Even as its jugular spilled warm blood on my chest, it didn't let go. I punched, clawed, and bit with a ferocity I never knew existed, but the animal would not release my limb. It finally let go when the breathing stopped and its eyes rolled backwards. Even with the adrenaline, I felt a strange feeling for the dead animal. Not pity, but respect. Suffice to say, the other men were impressed, even as I struggled to comprehend what they said. The pain was severe, and I'm still mortified at the thought of infection. It's a terrible way to die. Nonetheless, the tribals are tending my wounds. A young woman with dark eyes has been particularly attentive, and I must admit that a mere glance has more effect than any analgesic in a doctor's bag. Perhaps it's the healing powder getting to me. I think her name is Flor. I hope I dream about Flor tonight. I'd say that was probably going to happen, yes. This has been the most exciting day of my life. April the 28th, 2275. I'm ashamed to admit I've neglected my journal for an entire week, but what a week it has been. After rapidly convalescing, I took part in some crude ceremony, celebrating my kill. While I'm still uneasy about the entire affair, I must admit that the tribe's adulation and fascination is exciting. I've made a litany of linguistic breakthroughs, all documented in my notes. They call themselves the Sandwolves, a rather forbidding name for such a peaceful people. They have taken to calling me Landido with Lans, something that I believe corresponds to lays with spear. It could have been worse. Yes, it probably could, I suppose. In addition to documenting their language, I live among the Sandwolves and share their duties, as well as their leisure. We hunt all morning, rest in the afternoon, and then recreate in the evenings. My body is already adapting to the demands of daily exertion. I can feel my sinew growing tighter, and I don't lose my breath as often. I have even grown to enjoy the hunt, even though I still struggle with the slaying of innocent creatures. However, the Sandwolves kill only what they need, and they use almost everything from the carcass. As much as I enjoy the camaraderie of the morning hunt, the best part of my day is the return, when we stroll into camp with a bloody creature in tow, and we are met with the eyes of the camp's women. When Flor's eyes meet mine, I feel my muscles tense, and my very spine quakes for fear of disappointing her. One of the fellow men has noticed my apprehension about Flor, so he ribs me in good spirits. He is my first friend here, walks with Thunder. Thunder, as I call him, has been instrumental in my adaptation to tribal life. Just as I am curious about the Sandwolves, so he is unfailingly fascinated by my crude descriptions of the outside world. I hope I can persuade him to stay here. At least he has done me the honour of painting my face. I imagine I would have mucked it up royally if left to my own devices. There is so much to record, so much to learn. I will try to be more consistent in my journal entries, but I make no promises. I will promise to speak with Flor tomorrow. That is what I tell myself. May the 16th, 2275. I have been delinquent in my entries, but what news I have to share. I have been accepted into the tribe, made an equal among the Sandwolves. I now share the same rights, privileges, and obligations of every man, including marriage. I did not expect this, to be candid. I was engaged in the routine of hunting, learning the language, and making awkward glances at Flor when Thunder finally spoke to me about my status. He informed me that I was always a welcome guest, but if I had any ambition of courting Flor, I would have to be adopted by the family. I was surprised and not a little uncertain about this. I have responsibilities outside the canyon with the followers. With my findings, I can publish work that would cement my place in academia, perhaps even becoming a professor. This weighs on me every night. But Flor makes me think insane thoughts. Thoughts unbecoming for a civilized man. June the 24th, 2275. What a strange, transformative month this has been. The courtship began very well. So well, in fact, that Flor and I are now married. It feels strange writing it. I'm a married man now. Mr. Spear, if you will. Our initial meetings involved a great deal of miscommunication, but it was clear that we couldn't stand being away from each other for very long. My grasp of their language is progressing quickly, so we were able to exchange one important expression. Tu amo. I love you. Flor is an amazing woman. I catch myself just staring at her, indifferent to the rest of the universe. The dark hair and eyes, olive skin, the contours of her body, her lips. That will conclude this entry. Probably a good place to end. July the 28th, 2275. Time for another late entry from Mr. Spear. Flor and I are settling into our life together, though I worry about our long-term prospects. Could I ever ask her to uproot from this place and follow me to the hell of New Vegas? I don't know if she could take the culture shock. More importantly, I don't know if I want to return now. I have obligations to the followers, my family. I can't leave that behind, can I? My skill with the spear and the sandwolves' language are both progressing rapidly. Yesterday I felled Bighorner Bull and managed to assist in the field dressing without getting queasy. Perhaps I've grown inured to it through force of habit, but it's almost mechanical now. I'm starting to enjoy the hunt more than my research. What would Dr. Graham say? August the 10th, 2275. Flora is pregnant. I'm going to be a father. I was worried that she was growing ill with regurgitation and nausea, but it became clear when some of the older women began winking at me and whispering, "Embargnant? Pregnant." I came here expecting to learn a language and write a book, and now I have a family. Sometimes I wonder if it's just a dream, however cliched that may be. Just a weird, unexpected spasm of the imagination, but it's real. As happy as we both are, I can't help but feel uncertain about this. Why should Flor suffer through a painful, risky labour out here in the wilds? At least in New Vegas I could ensure her safety, and that of the child. There are so many risks, so many dangers. This is what keeps me up at night, even as I enjoy the respect and congratulations from the trials. I have to make a decision soon, and it will change the rest of my life and my family's. August the 13th. I've decided to stay. I found a strange peace with this life, with these people. They are my family now. Whatever happens, I know these people will support me. I have a functional grasp on the language now, thanks to Flor's patience and undying instruction. In exchange, I'm teaching her how to read, write, and speak English. Unfortunately, I only brought a dictionary, Moby Dick, and the Odyssey. Ironically, she has warmed to Homer's fantastical tale, but Melville's work is just too alien for her. It's hard for me to describe the ocean when I've never even seen it myself. Jealous deities, mythical heroism, sex, and cunning are easy for her to grasp. An obsessive quest to destroy a single animal is a little harder to explain, much less the concept of hunting for profit, not sustenance. It might be best to let Moby Dick wait. October the 26th. Glancing over my old entries, I realise that I often scribbled notes only when great events transpired. Not so today. I just feel like reflecting on my decision. Flor's pregnancy is just starting to show, and she's glowing, really glowing. I've always dismissed that description as mawkish crap, but it's true. It's hard on her when the tribe moves, but everyone helps out. Volume 3! He was rather a prolific writer, this gentleman. October the 30th, the hunt went well, but this was not a good trip. Thunder showed me the cave, and I was expecting to see a shrine or holy place. Instead, I led into a lower cavern where my torch was the only source of light. With an innocent smile, Thunder pointed at the object of fascination. A silver vein. Oh dear, silver. At first I was uncertain, but after examining it closely, my stomach sank. To the sandwolves, it's a novelty. To the outside world, it's reason to move in and take over the canyon. Even the hint of silver would prompt miners and prospectors to dig, strip, and search every corner of this place. A find this large would attract entire companies. It would destroy the tribe. Poor Thunder couldn't understand my dismay, even though I tried to warn him of the danger. I'm going to hold a meeting with some of the elders tonight, trying to convince them to let me seal off the cave. Flor tries to comfort me, even though she can't grasp what is at stake. Solo metallo, she says. It's only metal. I wish that were only true. October the 31st, 2275. After much deliberation, the elders ended up supporting my plan, though most were still mystified by my apprehension. I'd like to hug Dr. Graham for insisting that I pack a tiny bit of plastic explosives. Though I vehemently resisted, he demanded it, telling me that it could come in useful in odd situations. I could kiss that man for his foresight. Flor is struggling to understand why I'm undertaking this mission, though I try to console her by promising it's for the good of the tribe. It is never easy leaving her, even for a day. At least Thunder will accompany me. November the 5th. Really? November the 5th? Good grief. Bonfire night. Remember the 5th of November. Fans of a certain movie will probably recognise that. However, if you're British, I'm sure you will recognise it. even more. The mission failed. It wasn't because of the explosive, but the fact that I was too late and I hesitated. When Thunder and I reached a bluff overlooking the cave, we noticed 2 prospectors encamped near the entrance. I'm ashamed to write this, but my initial reaction was to kill them and dispose of the bodies. Thunder and I watched them for half an hour, and I could only imagine how to kill them, then how I would explain it to the tribe. Murder is an anathema to them, with any perpetrators suffering permanent banishment. Thunder told me there hasn't been a homicide in over a decade. They wouldn't understand it if I killed these 2 strangers, men they would consider guests. They don't know what's coming. When we saw the men enter the cave with the lanterns and pickaxes, it finally sunk in. Carruthers Canyon and the Sandwalls would never be the same again. I whispered, "Whamming goes," to Thunder, and we slipped away. November the 6th. I failed yet again. The leading elder, Sings with Bones, is determined to welcome the prospectors into the canyon with the same courtesy they showed me. He and the others argued that they must treat all newcomers the same as me, or they will have broken their most sacred laws. They do not appreciate the avarice and violence of the outsiders. They tried to console me and told me that I was merely listening to bad spirits, that men don't do the things I describe. I've been instructed to stay here while a small delegation goes to meet the prospectors. I'm considering absconding with Flor, but I doubt she could manage the arduous trip in her condition. Maybe I'm worrying about nothing. They could be new Canaanites or just decent people. I can hope. November the 10th. The delegation failed to return, so I've been appointed to lead a scouting party to ascertain their fate. I have picked a group of young hunters, all of them strong and capable with weapons. I have 8 men armed with spears, clubs and knives. They still don't understand that their friends are likely dead or captured, maybe even enslaved. It's simply incomprehensible for them. I don't know how they'll react. I don't know how I'll react. I don't know if I can kill a man, but maybe it's not too different from an animal. That's what we are after all, just dumb animals. I'm going to say goodbye to Flor again, but it's different. I may not come back. November the 15th. The prospectors killed the delegation. We killed the prospectors. We found their camp at night and we noticed the 5 emissaries were all bound and gagged and looked to have been tortured. Thunder and the other hunters appeared uncertain, even frightened. It was the first time I'd seen them like that. I gave them a signal, then began creeping towards the slumbering outsiders. I finally reached the first prospector, a bearded, rough fellow who looked to be in his 30s. I grasped the knife in my hand, but waited. I looked over at Thunder, who was inspecting the captured tribals. He gave me a look that I'll never forget, then motioned that their throats had been slit. In that moment, he understood, and so did I. I clamped my hand over the prospector's mouth, then began stabbing him in the throat, imagining him to be that coyote that attacked me months before. He thrashed and grasped at my arms, but I was too strong for him. Too strong by far. Once he faded, I motioned the hunters to grab the other prospector. They held him down by the fire, and I stood over him, clutching a heavy war club. He screamed out his friend's name, then began cursing all of us as filthy savages. He yelled, "You're done, you goddamn savages, they're coming and you can't stop them." He grew quiet when I whispered to him, "Who else knows?" He hesitated, then said, "Nobody. I'm just talking crazy. Please, let me go. I'll never come back. I promise." When the war clubs shattered his knee, he thrashed and screamed, but the men didn't let go. I said again, "Who else knows? Tell me and it will be quick." He's got a bit of a mouth on him, hasn't he? He really has. The war club came down so hard on his genitals, and I thought he might go into shock and pass out. But he just screamed, turned white and began sobbing. I whispered softly in his ear, "Who else knows?" He continued sobbing and coughing, then blurted out, "A courier. A courier sent to the East California Mining Company. We just wanted to know when the rest of the silver was, and they wouldn't say, that's all." I gave a look to Thunder, and then he and the other hunters let the man go. He started crawling away, but they were on him with their war clubs. It didn't take long. We buried them all, sealed the mine, then left. Thunder didn't say a word on the entire trip back. I could hardly look at the rest of the Sandwolves in the eyes when we returned. When I told the elders what happened, they grew pale and some began crying. I explained what happened to the delegation and that we were all in danger now. I implored them to lead the tribe away from the canyon, find a different hunting ground, or prepare to fight. They would have none of it. They merely said the gods would judge us and that we would never speak of it again. It was meant to shame us, but I don't feel shame, only sadness and fear for what's to come. I held on to Flora all evening. She spoke softly and tried to comfort me, running her fingers across my back as she whispered in my ear, "She's all that matters now. I don't know if I can save this tribe." January the 14th. They're here. I thought the prospector might have lied. It had been close to 2 months and things within the camp had almost returned to normal. However, I knew that rotten animal had told the truth when I spotted the camp yesterday. I was leading a hunting party near the Silver Cave when I noticed the smoke plumes across the ridge. I peeked over the rocks, hoping it was just a group of lost travellers. Hindsight renders that notion doubly idiotic. There was a fortified encampment, guarded by at least 20 armed men, probably mercenaries. There were several Brahmin loaded with supplies and even enough materials to lay foundations for a town. Inside the perimeter, workers were busy moving supplies into the mine, filling sandbags and setting up tents. It was the beginning of a settlement. I motioned the other hunters to ease away from the ridge, and we set out for the camp. Tonight I will advise the elders on a course of action. January the 15th. The poor fools are going to tear this tribe apart. I tried to warn them, even considered fighting them, but it would be useless. I can't jeopardize my place in the tribe with Floor so far along. I told the elders what I saw, and then I told them we had several options. 1. Run. 2. Fight a guerrilla campaign. 3. Use our overwhelming numbers to snuff out the town in its infancy. The elders would have none of it. They descended into a harangue about judgment and forgiveness, scolded me for my past actions and the mere recommendation of violence. They told me I must purify my spirit or face banishment. It was a severe reprimand by the standards of the Sandwolves. They're going to invite the mercenaries and miners to our camp in the hopes of demonstrating the Sandwolves' peaceful intentions and make an appeal to share the canyon. They believe they can trade metal for hunting rights. A charming notion. What they're going to do is jeopardize everything in the tribe, including Floor. I won't let that happen. I've already spoken with Thunder and some of the other hunters who were with me that night. We're moving our families and anyone who'll listen to another campsite. Others be damned. We're going to have to be quick. If we're discovered, we risk open condemnation from the council, which would be compatible to excommunication. Okay. Last entry. Another long one. January the 17th. Floor is safe, along with some of the families. Aside from that, there is no good news. It is a dark day for the Sandwolves. This morning, I and a few of the dissident men, Thunder included, made a point to observe the welcome of the newcomers to our camp. We chose a distant, well-hidden bluff overlooking the site. At first, I thought my fears might be for naught, as the entire delegation returned apparently unharmed, with 10 men accompanying them. All of the elders and senior tribals emerged to greet them, with all the pomp that they could muster, offering the guests food, clothes, and jewellery. The men seemed amicable enough. However, soon after they began meeting, I overheard one of the men asking, "Are these your leaders?" Then began men motioning and drawing in the sand for a moment. I was taken back to my own first encounter. Within a few minutes, the men were confident that they were in the company of the tribal elders. That's when they killed them. It's clear they were mercenaries based on how they handled their weapons. They were quick and efficient. First, they shot the 6 elders, who had nary a moment to react. Then the screams of panic set in, and the real slaughter began in earnest. The men unloaded entire magazines with automatic weapons at close range, indiscriminately shooting men, women, and children. It was as if I was forced to watch my own family butchered in slow motion right before me. They were like helpless, timid animals, some praying and pleading, incapable of understanding. The men just laughed and continued firing. A handful of tribal men were moved to action, with one even wounding a mercenary with a spear. It didn't matter. they were summarily gunned down. Thunder also watched and began sobbing. I held him and made sure he remained quiet, but I shared his grief and his anger. When the men finally left, that is all I felt. Pure rage. Now I know why men hate. January the 18th. Not all of us died yesterday. Many fled to safety, and we have been busy collecting the traumatized survivors and leading them to our new camp. There is so much pain and uncertainty. We have no leadership. They look to Thunder and I now. We will have to fight. We have buried all the dead, and now we're preparing for the reckoning. Most of them have killed animals, so it's not hard to teach them to kill men. You hit them here, cut them there, smash this, slice that. They learn quickly. It's just Thunder and I now. We are the council. We have decided to fight in an irregular fashion based on my advice. I know very little of warfare aside from books, but we must press our advantage. Familiarity with terrain, stealth, resourcefulness, and commitment. I do remember that. The spoils belong to the most committed. We must procure firearms. Tomorrow I will lead a scouting party and try to set up an ambush near the entrance to the canyon. Flor cries a lot now, and it's not because of the pregnancy. I never wanted for her to experience this pain, this worry. Perhaps I should have left and taken her with me. It's too late now. January the 23rd. The ambush was a stunning success. It's amazing how inattentive caravan guards can be when they're close to their destination. We caught them at dawn, and the sandwolves performed brilliantly. Without a noise, we launched a hail of spears at the guards, killing 2 almost instantly. As the travellers screamed and panicked, we all sprang from cover and fell on them with clubs, knives and hatchets. One of the young warriors took a bullet to the chest, but we suffered no other casualties. We killed all the settlers, save 1 child. He'll be raised with ours. Okay, so they're not killing the children, not that this is a big surprise. January the 25th. They are taking to weapons training with amazing alacrity. I thank Dr. Graham for mandating rudimentary marksmanship lessons, even if I was indifferent to them at the time. Sometimes I doubt myself, though. Today I taught women and teenage boys how to operate killing machines and the best way to stab a man. Is this how Edward Sallow felt? We were victorious today and it felt good. Yesterday one of the scouts spotted a mercenary patrol near the old encampment. They were well armed with combat armour grenade launchers, and it didn't save them. We approached their camp at night and noticed they were wise enough to post 2 sentries. 2 agile warriors disposed of the clumsy bastards without a peep. Then we moved in without a noise. Weapons bared, it was over in less than a minute, without a shot fired. They brought their best and we destroyed them without a single loss. Maybe we can keep this canyon after all. Oh dear, really? That's a bit naive. February the 15th. After we butchered that mercenary patrol, the canyon remained quiet for several weeks. Scouts reported caravan traffic to the town, but little else. Apparently, they're building walls. We must have made quite an impression. Unfortunately, there has been a difference of opinion between Thunder and I of late. He is advocating a full-scale assault on the town, arguing that our new firepower will give us the edge. I refuse, as we are still few in number, with no armour, and insufficient training for such a bloody operation. It's one thing to ambush caravans and something else entirely to coordinate an attack on a well-defended position. I fear we would be routed and never really recover. The tribe is still in a fragile state. Flor is close now. She continues to worry for me, just as I worry for the tribe. It has changed so much since the attack on the camp. Bravery and scalps are now the measure of manhood, with differences settled by single combat. We are close-knit, but there is tension born from exposure to danger and combat. Most of us are killers now. February the 18th, 2276. Thunder has taken our disagreement to the General Council and we must present our case to the entire tribe. I fear that he will stir them into a frenzy and then our fate will be sealed. I will speak of our need for patience, to bide our time and continue striking when and where they least expect it. It's not an appealing route, but it is sustainable. February the 19th. It is decided. Every able-bodied warrior will participate in the attack on the mining town. I've been charged with drawing up a plan for what is probably an impossible task. I'm going to leave Fleur a widow, most likely. Tomorrow I will lead a reconnaissance mission to evaluate the town's defence. I can't stop thinking of Fleur. February the 22nd. I believe it's possible to take the town, but I know the price is too high. Even if they take it, the Sandwolves won't hold it. Thunder wants to kill all the settlers, women and children included. I have strictly forbade it. He doesn't understand the reaction this will bring. The town had an NCR flag flying over it. We're going to attack the town in 1 week, so I've been relentlessly training everyone. Some will plant explosives, others will snipe the guards. A few will scale the walls early on and try to sabotage the front gate. Maybe we can pull it off. February the 23rd. We attack at dawn. I'm watching Fleur as we write this, sitting in my favourite cave above the campsite. It's been a nice, warm escape for us. She's so beautiful that it pains me to think of her going on without me. But she'll have to. We talked about it and she cried and held me when I told her I probably wouldn't come back. She asked me if she should stay or go. I told her it was her choice, but that she should marry again and raise our child to be fair and strong and not to raise their hand in violence. I made her promise me. February the 25th. Final entry, most likely. The attack failed, but it was so close. So close that I cry about it now. The scouts scaled the wall, knifed the sentries, but some drunk happened to see us, sounded the alarm. Can you imagine? Every other night we watched them, and it was the same routine, no surprises. He just happened to be there that one night, at that particular moment. We rushed the square, managed to overwhelm the militia, but the miners and mercenaries emerged from the upper ridge, armed and ready. It was a bloodbath. I took a slug to the stomach, and I'm fading now. The healing powder dulls the pain, but I can't help think this is all my fault. I taught them to kill, made them hate. Maybe I'm no better than Caesar. At least Fleur still loves me, unconditionally. There's a strong word. I can't write much. And I can't read the bottom. Ah, well, that was pretty damned depressing. And as I sort of suspected, it did seem like the people of Silverwood and the NCR started this whole torrid affair. Although, by the look of things, some of the Sandwolves in the end got pretty brutal and adopted the same tactics. If we do find Glanton, we're going to kill him. We are going to kill him. Not for revenge. I was going to say not for money, but that would be a lie, because it'll be partly for money. But just partly to make this over. It just should be over.